Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dental Up Podcast, brought to you by Keating Dental Arts, a full-service, award-winning dental laboratory. Each week, you'll learn tips and techniques from real-world dentists, bringing you in-depth interviews, motivating stories, current events, and sports. Here's your host, Shaun Keating.
Hey everyone, Shaun here. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Up Podcast. Our guest this week graduated from the University of the Pacific School of Dentistry. He's an international lecturer, CEREC trainer, and entrepreneur. Currently practicing from Scottsdale, Arizona. Please welcome Dr. Brian Harris, DDS. How's it going, Dr. Harris?
Doing good, Shaun. Thanks, man.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on board. I love having Dennis. We met years ago at a dental town. God, I remember that was years ago. Back in the days when those were like, we used to have 1,000 people visiting all those, dental town meetings in Vegas and stuff. But I remember talking with you way back then. You were doing entrepreneurial stuff back then. I think you were helping out Howard or something. Weren't you doing some SEO stuff or something? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's been a while since you and I have chatted face to face. But yeah, back in the day, it was when on Dental Town there was a CE search engine that allowed doctors to go in and look up CE courses by date, location, time. So it was a venture I started like 3 months out of dental school, and a little company I started, and then helped Howard power CE search engines for a number of years. So yeah, that was back where all the dental meetings were in Vegas, every other weekend. That's
awesome. I remember always brought my wife to those meetings, man. You can't go to Vegas on your own, man. There's too much you could do. Like, I remember so many dentists, man, like, where are your wives? And I was like, God, my wife never let me go to Vegas without her being there. But you just got to be trustworthy, I guess. If you're a good husband, you better be, because it's so close to us, man. It's a 40-minute flight, and we love going to Vegas. I go just to eat. Yeah, I go there to a great restaurant. I got Joe's Crab Shack not Joe's Crab Shack. What is it? Joe's Stone Crab. It's a different one, and it's like those little stone crabs, man. Those things are so good. But I go there. It's at Caesars, and then we'll watch a show somewhere, and we'll fly home in the morning, man. It's like, yeehaw. We haven't done it for a while. Like, I'm telling my wife, let's do it, man. Let's get back over to Vegas. She's like, Shaun, we got too much stuff going on. So, all right, dude. Well, hey, I always start off talking a little bit about sports, man. What do you into any of the basketball, baseball, football? What do you like out there?
Dude,
anything?
That question, that's like the question, like in my worst nightmare. I'm the biggest poser. Like I grew up being like halfway decent at every sport, but not like super good at any of them. And so, I spend most of my time watching, chick shows with my wife on Netflix, I'm embarrassed to say. So don't ask me any other sports questions, but let's hear you. You tell me, teach me something.
Well, we got in the playoffs, man. We got Golden State Warriors, they went up 3 games to 2 against Houston, man. It looks like they're going to go to the big dance again. And you got Milwaukee Bucks, man. I haven't ever heard of those in the playoffs for years. I think it was 81 or something last time they made it, or I think they might have won it in 81, but that's a long time ago. But Milwaukee Bucks is waiting to play, and it's Denver and Portland. I think they're like 2 games each or something. But a lot of teams haven't been in there. Denver Nuggets, Portland Trailblazers, Houston Rockets are in it a lot, and so is the Golden State Warriors. But to see Milwaukee, it's kind of neat. They got that the Greek Freak, man. This dude's just like such a he's just a really good ball player. He has like a wingspan. His arms, I think, stretch 12 feet or something, from one arm to the other. But so, football's not in. That's my sport. But baseball, I get bored at baseball. I'm not into – I used to be into the Angels, but then they just are so horrible. It's hard to watch, even though they got Trout and Pujols. Pujols waddles down to the first base every time he gets a hit, and he's like – $250 million contract, and the guy's just, I don't know, he's not doing the greatest. But no, other than that, baseball, football, Kentucky Derby, I didn't want to get into that. My horse got disqualified last week, won the damn thing, and he got disqualified. I'm reading in the paper today, and the other horses were saying, one guy was saying, it's kind of like driving your car with a drunk driver in front of you. And I'm like, you little, I wanted to, what the heck, man? It was raining, it was a sloppy track. So other than that, man, that's all there is in sports. And I was the same way in sports. I thought I was great in everything, but I was semi good in football, and I did gymnastics. But after 12th grade, man, that stuff's over. You think you're going to be a pro and to do all that stuff, but it's just a pipe dream. And now 30 years later or whatever, my body aches from all those head-on concussions, and then my knees and the things you didn't realize. And, even my kids, I made them play football. Like, I didn't make them, but kind of got them in at 7 and 8 year olds, coaching them in youth football, thinking they're going to make it to the bigs. And, same thing, 12th grade, they were done with it all. And they're getting their aches and pains from it. And I think if I had kids nowadays, I wouldn't let them play football. It's so tough on you. And especially with that brain, that noggin, going head on with everyone. It's probably not the wisest thing to do. Now you have the knowledge is coming up now with some of that the head traumas and stuff and all that, but anything in life,
so you're saying it's a good thing that I was very average in high school then, so I avoided all that.
You're the best one. And the same thing with all the popular dudes and all the popular girls that were all as those ones that you didn't notice, that when you go to your 30-year reunion, you look and go, man, you've aged beautifully, and you're like a swan, now, and where you didn't know back in high school. And then the homecoming queen and all the people are popular, they're all ragged and beat. And it's like, dude, it's kind of nice to be quiet and not so, great at something or whatever. It's just in your time will, show what's, I don't know where I went there. Let's cut that part. And, all right, dude, let's go ahead and dental up, Dr. Harris. So tell me, why did you get into dentistry, and at what point did you think, I want to be a dentist?
So I get that question a lot. It's interesting. So my dad, way back in the early 90s, started over at Baylor Aesthetic Continuum with Dickerson and Dorfman and Hornbrook, and those guys went on to then create LVI. So he was an instructor at LVI for a number of years, and then when it broke off, he went over and taught at Pac Live. And that for me, like I was a junior, senior in high school.
Okay.
And so I got to see him live through that like cosmetic revolution and what it did to him as a dentist, going from like drill and fill to changing lives. And so that's kind of when I think I knew, like, what, this is something I want to do. And I got finished up college. My older brother was 2 years ahead of me at Pacific. And then I went through, my younger brother was 2 years behind me. So my dad and then three of his boys all went into dentistry, and
that's kind
of how it started. So I feel like I came out of dental school with a very different mindset of what could be, as opposed to just, doing dentistry, realizing that there's a lot of potential. So that's kind of how it happened.
I bet your dad's a stud, man. I mean, is he still practicing dentistry? Or?
He's a stud, yeah. He's still practicing. He's 4 days a week and wants to be busy every second of the day. He loves it.
I love that. Look at that, dude. Yeah. I got to do some of his work, man. Send me some. I'll show him how to do those makeovers, baby.
I know.
That's so cool, dude. And you're just like a total entrepreneur, man. You're kind of phasing in a bunch of different things. We'll get into that in a minute, but tell me a little bit about the UOP, man. I always think of Dr. DeTola, man, because I remember him back in the day always talking about University of Pacific or School of Dentistry. And then I had Dr. McWally on, our podcast that'll be coming up. He was a UOP guy too. And that's awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about it. You like your education there? Any good things, any bad things? Tell me a little bit about that if you could.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's funny, a lot of the guys that I'm out on the speaking tour with now and the circuit are some of my instructors back then, and spend a lot of time getting to know Mike and a lot of the other professors. I mean, it was a good school because I feel like the focus really was clinical, and so I came out of school with a real confidence about dentistry and about how to how to do procedures, or at least how to do them with confidence and learn quickly. So I loved it.
That's so cool. Now, you talking a little bit about lecturing. You like on Catapult or any particular circuit that you're lecturing on, or just on your own through different vendors? Or
yeah, just on my own. I don't work with any group, but I do a lot with Cavo Kerr.
Okay.
Is there one of their top restorative speakers, and I also do a lot. I mean, it's about 50-50 now between them and Seattle Study Club. So I do a lot with Seattle Study Club. And then I just do a lot of my own stuff too, whether it's hands-on courses or webinars, and I'm doing something at least every month now. So on my own, and then on the road probably 1 or 2 times a month still. So
that's awesome. So tell me a little bit, did you start out as an associate? Did you purchase the practice? Tell me a little bit about what you're working and how that went for you. Yeah,
I started, I came into my dad's practice. I bought in after about 2 years. And so I kind of started as an associate for him, and then bought in, and I've been in practice almost 15 years now. So the last 13 have been, just as in a partnership. And then my younger brother, Scott, came over and bought in 1/3 here just a couple years ago. So at one point we had 5 offices, and now we're down to just 1.
And 1, but you still, I think you have like 25 people or something, don't you? Or no? Or is it a big practice? Tell me a little bit about how many ops and how many you pops and your brother. Are those the only 3 dentists, or you got any more in there?
Yeah. So there's 3 of us, and then I currently see patients Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They are both Monday to Thursday, and then we have a great associate doc who sees patients on Thursdays and Fridays when I'm not there. And so there's 11 ops. There's always 3 docs. Yeah. So it's a great practice. It's a good what I would call a family cosmetic practice. I myself, for the last 3 years, I do Smile Design exclusively, so I don't do any general dentistry anymore. But it's a great practice.
No kidding. That's awesome, dude. What's it like with Scottsdale Center for Education? All that big 800-pound gorilla. Is that close to your practice? Or
yeah, it is. It's probably about 20 minutes away. I used to spend a lot of time down there. I was a CEREC trainer for a number of years. And so I spent a lot of time down there in the early days with Samir and Armin and going through some of their courses. But I haven't been down there in a while. But it's great. It's great to have, good education close by, for those that want it.
Absolutely. No, it's a neat setup for sure. Samir's a great guy, and I remember when Samir and Armin were real tight. I don't think they're so tight anymore, but I don't know about that. But, hey, life's friends are friends, business is business, man. We'll keep it at that. Yeah. But now Samir's a great dude. Him and T-Bone came in, and they did my first when I opened this up. Just built this out, 30,000 square foot laboratory, man, and I got a full-on operatory. It's all pretty neat, state-of-the-art, and they're the first guys that come in and do an over-the-shoulder, and we did a full upper, man, like 4 to 13, and all veneers. Oh, no way. Yeah, man, it was so cool, and prepped it on Friday, and temporized in front of everyone, and then we sent it off to the lab, went out to dinner that night, and next morning came back, everything was done, and we just placed everything, and that was kind of our how we did it from all these, it's been 15 years later now, and here we are still doing them. And some dude, I forgot what it was, some company told me, I forgot who has it trademarked, but over the shoulder, you can't call your programs over the shoulder.
Is it trademark?
Yeah, I forgot who it was.
Just call it over the shoulders.
We just call it live patient. We just call it different things every time, but it's kind of crazy, man. But hey, if you trademarked it, I guess that's what it is. I mean, I went to a big old trademark thing for my KDZ Bruxer thing, and it cost me a lot of money to go against that big dude down the street. But hey, I won, baby. It cost me a lot of money, and I didn't get a whole lot out of it, but at least it's the point of it. So when they said you can't use that name, I understood it, and because if they trademarked it, that's what you do that for, so you don't have knuckleheads out there using your name. But so that's pretty cool that they did that. So tell me, this project that you've been working on. It's called Smile Virtual. And, I guess it allows dentists to work with patients in a way that breaks down the barriers, that creates relationships and qualifies individuals for procedures ahead of time. Tell me a little bit about your little thing you got going there.
So I realized it was probably about 2.5 years ago, with the surge of social media and things that were happening in that world, I quickly realized there's so many more patients out there now that are aware of cosmetic procedures. So like back in the day when I first started, the only way patients knew is if they came to see you and you would ask them like, hey, have you ever considered improving your smile? And then you'd go over options. But unless people were like actively searching on a website and looking at before and afters, there was no way to really know what was possible. Then social media happened. Now everybody's aware of what the procedures are. So what I realized is, if you can capture or if you can reach the hundreds and millions of people out there that are wanting to improve their smile, but they don't know what to do. They don't know who to trust to do it. They don't know what it even costs to do it. Mm-hmm. And instead of making them come in to see you, what we do now is we've just created a really simple platform where they upload a photo, they tell you what they want to change, and then you can create a custom video recording them a virtual consult essentially, and send it off to them. So
no way.
That's what I do.
Really? Yeah, is it hokey? Is it real looking?
Dude,
I know.
It's amazing. So here's the difference. I don't do smile simulations. So where the power is so like, for example, like let's say you want to remodel your kitchen mm-hmm. and your wife wants to remodel it, but you don't have, part of the problem nowadays is you may not have any idea of like what that costs, what's involved. Yeah. And so it's not that you're opposed to it. You just want to like know the details. So people are like that with their smiles too. They have no idea. Yep. So the purpose of the video is more to just let them see you, get to know you, and then share examples with them of other cases and other patients' journey, and then tell them what the procedures cost. So I quote fees on every single patient before they come in and see me. And so it just tells them exactly what they want to know.
Well, you got to know what they have in the mouth to work with first and foremost, right? It's not like you can just space plan a 32, tooth maxillary and mandibular.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going off just a basic foundation like that and then doing it? Or are you actually getting what's in their mouth? Or how?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always like the next follow-up question. So okay. It's changing. Especially certain dentists are like, whoa. How do you even know how to treatment plan? And so it's changing the mindset of the dentist and helping them see like, hey, this isn't about treatment planning. It's about connection. It's about building trust and giving patients like 10 minutes of your time. It's like a gift of your expertise. Yeah. And on those cases, most of the time, they're pretty direct. Like, hey, I saw what veneers can do. How much does it cost for 6 of them? How much does it cost for 10? And if you get a photo and looks like a very straightforward case, then it's pretty easy. But if I get a photo where I see missing teeth, I still quote fees, and I'll
might be
go
an implant or it might be bridge work from that area. Yeah. So I get that, man.
Yeah. I'll say, hey, if you're going to do the full mouth, it could be this. If you're going to do what's called an all-on-4, and I explain that, it could be this, but we may be able to just do it with this. So it's more just getting in front of them, letting them see you, and then giving them that gift of like your time and your expertise. It just builds immediate trust. And so then they come in and see you. But when they come in and see you, now they're pre-qualified, right? They already have an idea of what it costs. So just the fact that they're there makes you know that they can afford it.
It sounds like I'm actually looking at another building to get. And what you do is you get a space planner first in there and you kind of map out what you want to put in there. And then you have your architects come in and they fill in the numbers on the cost of everything. So it's kind of similar with that, with the mouth, but it took about a week to get it back. And then I could say, okay, I like this, I can afford all this, but let's pull back here. So maybe they can do the upper or first, or maybe they can do the lower depending on costs, but they got a picture of the whole thing. And it's kind of a neat thing there in a way. It's just, we'll put it in our show notes for sure where we can, click on to your website and do you have something that'll show how it works?
Oh yeah. I can give you a demo for sure. I'll link something on there. But to simplify it, really how it works is if you were to go in, let's say you, Shaun, was interested in doing something, you'd go to Smile Virtual, you'd upload a photo, you'd type in, hey, I'm interested in, I've always hated my smile. Tell me what I can do. Immediately I get that. I click on the photo and then I say, okay, this could be a great example of a 6-unit case. So the software is all automated. So I go through and click on 4 or 5 different before and after cases similar to yours in examples. And then I type in a price quote, and then everything pre-populates. And then it's almost like recording a presentation, but it's your video, it's your face on the video too.
Okay.
So then I would send it back to you and say, hey, Shaun, this is Dr. Harris. I just want to reach out. Like, I know this is kind of a strange way to do a consult, but let's talk about how this works. And then I go through the different slides. I show you similar cases. And then in the end, I'd say, hey, here's what I'd recommend. If you're going to do this, I would say all you really need to do is 6 teeth. And here's what it's going to cost to do it, but, I'd love to meet you in person and go over your options. So it's a way for people to get their questions answered without having to take off work and come down and see you. And
if they can get a ballpark, and is it actually say, you get a big smile from a person and, they're going every which way or whatever. And then you kind of go in and we'll have an after picture where it's simulated a 6 through 11 ideal or something so they could see what it looks like or no?
Yeah, you can do that. But I think more power is in me just sharing with you examples of Jared and of David and other people in your exact same position that have gone through the same thing.
Perfect.
And I'll walk you through their before, their after. I'll walk you through their journey, and then I'll invite you to come in. So I've done several different simulation softwares in the past. I don't love how they turn out, and I think there's more value in just telling them what they want to know and then getting them in to see you. And
just doing a fake, setup in their mouth. It'll just, it's kind of like, here's a real setup of, they were missing their lateral or they had crooked teeth. We had to do bleaching here, veneers here, whatever. I mean, you can give them some options, but I think that might be a neat thing going straight to the public and, the millions of people out there. I mean, that could, at least see what they're doing, and if they don't go through you, they might have an idea what to go to their dentist and, hey, I know it's about $8,000 or it's about this or whatever. I'm not sure, but I think that might be it might be something, because people are always looking for something like that and how to for their beauty or for anything, and different products out there that you could do something smile virtual, man. It's kind of a neat thing. I'm feeling a little bit, man, and I'm just a lowly dental technician. I want to click. I want to send my smile and see what you can do. I don't need any other. I got all my natural teeth there, but posteriorly, no. Yeah. But no, dude, that's So what a trip. So how do you go about, do you have like websites that kind of look for people looking for a smile, check on the smile? How are you pushing? Yeah, how are you making this work for you?
So right now there's like 110 doctors using it. We're in 5 different countries now. And so the network's big enough. So you have doctors all over that are posting before and afters, that are talking about it on their social media page. So the buzz is getting created. Kind of like, remember like before Clear Choice, people, I mean, it was a hybrid, right? And then Clear Choice came out, and all of a sudden, like, it's all on 4, and everybody knows about all on 4. So it's kind of the same thing where a couple years ago, a virtual consult wasn't really even a thing. Yeah. And now that people all over are offering them, now it's like patients want them. And so, but you can drive from your own website. So right now, most doctors on a given month will convert about 3 to 4% of their traffic on their website to actually pick up the phone and call. So this is a fantastic way to convert. Geez, even if you created, another 3 or 4% just by letting them know, like, hey, upload a photo, you want a quote, we'll give it to you for free. And, it's just kind of creating these little funnels or these gathering points where you just start dropping people in. And, I could talk for hours about all the different ways to use it, out of hygiene, out of your unscheduled treatment list, out of current patients. I mean,
it sounds kind of neat, and I could see it like on a Facebook or something, the little blurbs that we do, little vids, and to have some, hey, click this and get your smile virtual here and see what it really takes to get that smile taken care of. And, Dr. Harris can make this happen, or, Dr. Smith or whatever. They could use the same kind of thing. And I bet we'll get a lot of guys that click on that for you if you have some, demos and stuff online that they can see what it's all about. do we want to talk about pricing? We'll keep that quiet for it, or is it something?
No, I don't mind. No, I don't mind talking about pricing.
So, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the way the pricing's set up, it's a setup fee. So part of the setup fee is getting all of your photos loaded into the software, your before and after cases. For doctors that are short on before and after cases, I have a big library of cases they can borrow from of my own cases. I just ask that people don't repost those as their own stuff like on social media. It's just to me meant to use within the software. So there's a setup fee to get all that updated. There's an online course, a 7-module course. There's a whole social media guide how to ramp that and launch. So there's basically everything that you need to be successful. We've kind of packaged into a starter kit, and that starter kit, doctors can come and sign up, and it's a $1,500 setup fee to just get everything set up. If they want the starter kit that has all the other social media stuff, like everything else involved, it's a $2,900, but that includes the first 3 months of membership of the software. And then after that, the software is a $299 a month ongoing fee. And that's for the recording. That's for all the updated before and afters that we upload in there. But it's also for access to the group. So we've got a private Facebook group of all the docs involved, and a lot of idea sharing, a lot of mentoring and advice given, just a lot of working together to help these doctors grow their practice.
I think it's something too that I'll have my guys look at it a little bit more. That even we have a bunch of dentists that work with us, and I love nothing more than to help dentists, have their practice thrive. And that's by me making great restorations and getting them back quicker so patients can get in them quicker and get out of those temps. But I've always looked at things to do to help dentists, and this might be something that maybe I do pay their monthly fees once they get set up, or even setting it up. I mean, if I can drive more patients to their practice and they're using me, I mean, it's a kind of a win-win for me. At the end of the day, I'm always trying to do things to help doctors get more business. I help with SEO. I help with, I have doctors that even try to ask me how I run my company with, all my people and staff, and how, we take notes actively, and, we paraphrase everything we talk back to the doc. I mean, we try to do our Nordstrom service here, and there's a lot of people that have worked with us, know that. But on something like this, it might be a neat little widget to have in their arsenal on their website. And, when coming to SEO and all this other stuff, you've been involved in a lot of those things and how to grow your practice. But this might be a neat thing to get patients clicking on, and let's see what we got. And getting more. I mean, I get 50,000 views on a video of mine, but there's not many doctors calling me saying, Shaun, I mean, it's like, it's kind of telling me what I do, but it's like, But for something like this, especially if you can get a buzz with patients to try it. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to click on stuff, and if you got something out there that it's free to do, just get a picture of you, bud, and put it in there and put it in here, and we'll get back to you with what the cost will be and what we can do. And it might be a thing. And for every 1,000 people, you might get 3 or 4, but that one patient might have a $10,000 case, or, or whatever, it is. I mean, a bunch of $2,000 or $3,000 cases, whatever, a bunch of $20,000, $30,000. You just don't know on what's going to come through. And especially if it's, put together nicely. So no, I think that's a neat thing. I think we need to get it up on our show notes, all your information, and let the doctors decide for sure. And I'll look at it on my end too, that maybe I throw it on my site too to help out, because, if my doctors, a lot of guys, my dentists, they don't listen to podcasts, or they don't look at dental journals. They're just kind of dentists, and, it's just, but with me, and, I might be able to get the message out to my massive dentists that I work with, and see what they think. It's their
for sure.
They're the ones don't know if they think they might want to use it or not, man. So that's awesome, dude. Well, hey, what kind of CE you like doing? Keeping up to date on stuff? What, anything in particular, like going to any dental conventions yet you like more than others?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I I just got back from AACD, which is always a good meeting. But
did you go by our booth and say hi to Erica?
I did. I was. Were you guys there? I was only in and out. I was there for one day in meetings, but no, I didn't. I only went on the exhibition floor for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, she said that it was the dentists were doing their gigs, and the way the labs were set up, and the vendors are kind of off and left field, man. And it wasn't real good, and not many dentists came by that way because they want to do what they do, and they don't want to be sold to. I mean, we don't have anything to sell them. We just got information to give. But it was great for us. But that's the AACD, man. All these hot shots that But,
well, and that's what I was going to say. It's kind of a funny meeting because I mean, I always enjoy going, but there's a lot of egos in the room. But it's it's like that with any meeting.
You think?
But I just think those meetings have changed so much over the years. I mean, I lived back in the early days of like the big discus dental extravaganzas and the Sirona meetings and when everything was just wild. And I feel like now, there's just, I don't know if it's the access to online education or what it is, but there's less of like the craziness, less of the big Vegas meetings, less of the big meetings in general, right?
I think so. I'm seeing it too. I mean, just with like knowing more and more about the Spear whole, business model, it's just, everything's going to, CE's going online. Even they're like saying, well, we have a whole format online. You don't even need to come see us unless, there's some guys that want to go do it hands-on and see it and everything else. But then, there's so much online that is so, I mean, even in Dental Town, they got so much CE online that pretty darn cheap. You can get CE credits, but you can also, I mean, I remember Howard Ferran, we did this podcast with him a while back, and he was talking about, this implant course that, it's a 1,500-page book the guy took 20 years to do. Well, you can go on and do it in a course in a couple hours, and it took him 20 years to put it together, but there's just so much education and so many things like with these podcasts that you can be enlightened on anything in life now. And it kind of, everything's kind of going to the phone to your hand. And we didn't even have these damn phones 13 years ago or whatever it was. And it's like the world's changing, man. And I think those big old CE courses, I think unless you got something really that's going to pull them in. I mean, I don't know. I think you're absolutely right, though. Things are changing in that area for sure. So what about any of the newer technology coming out? Scanners, CAD cams, chairside, all that. Dislikes? Tell me a little bit about your thoughts there.
Yeah, I have kind of mixed opinion. I mean, I have an OmniCam. I just bought the new iTero.
Yeah. Where's your Prime Scam, dude? You're a big Sarah dude.
I know. Well, so because I don't do as much single unit stuff anymore, I don't use it as much anymore. But I think the technology is there. I think for general dentistry, general pros, single units, quadrants, and maybe it's just my lack of confidence or lack of knowledge, but when I get into more, full arch cases and just my prep design and how I prep, I just find I still trust my impression materials more on smile cases just because I've got such a system in place where it just works, but no, I think the technology is fantastic. And so I've got 2 different units, myself. So.
Yeah. Well, iTeros, we get a lot of those files every day, baby. So I'm looking forward to a big file and a big upper lower round here, whatever you got. Nasty hard case, baby. I'll show you what we're all about, man.
No, I was going to say, let's do it. Let's collaborate on a big case comes in.
Yeah, let's do it. And heck, we can put it up and before or after and make a nice little go of that, man. It'd be neat.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't get a lot of my guys that post our stuff. They do a lot of great dentistry, but they just, some of their personal websites, they'll put stuff up, but I love it. I had a doctor a few weeks back put something on Facebook. I think it was 6 through 11, or I think it was, 4 to 13 or something. And he put it up. We got a ton of response, and it's so bitching to see those ugly ass teeth, before. And then afterwards, it's like, what a difference. I mean, smiles, it's just such a beautiful thing to change a person's smile and to give them their confidence, and especially when we're doing the whole thing and they got enough things to hold on, we do a lot of 401s, 601s, but when we're doing fixed prosthodontics where we got several teeth to work with up top and several on the bottom, we can make things so beautiful, and it's just such a neat thing, and it's not such a long process, man. And it's not the end of the world if certain things fail, and it's just, when you work with a good lab and a dentist, I mean, it's just a little bit of your time if something fails, and same thing with all the implantology when things go awry and you have to put things to sleep, they didn't osseointegrate or whatever. It's not the end of the world, man. It's just something with experience comes, confidence, and it's just something, there's always an answer and what we can do to make it better and to repair it or whatever we need. But more so than not, it goes through, and it's just a beautiful thing when people it changes their lives. And we've changed a lot of people's lives through the years, and I love it, man. But hey, Dr. Harris, dude, I can't thank you enough, man. It's awesome. And you're a good-looking man. You look like kind of a little Conor McGregor-ish there.
Oh, stop. Hey, I'll take that. I'll take it. I won't turn that down.
Yeah, you look good, man, and good shape and everything else. But,
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
All right, dude. Well, hey, anything we can do, man, let us know. And I can't thank you enough for coming on the Dental Up podcast. God bless you and your family, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Absolutely. I'll reach out. Let's work on some cases together. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cool, dude. I appreciate it, man. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Harris, and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Dental Up Podcast Show this week. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or search the Dental Up Podcast on iTunes for our weekly feed. Don't forget to visit KeatingDentalArts.com/promo for exclusive offers. Keating Dental Arts is a full-service dental laboratory, and we're nationwide. We'd love for you to send us a case so we can show you the Keating difference. If you dig what you heard, please leave a review on iTunes, and we'll be back next week.